Nej, my name is Mike, and I'm a Christian tolerant gangster tornadoes, which is secret persecution program. And I live in Sweden, also the same Sweden, born 1989. And this is stream 2. I just end the stream because I noticed I had cut off from YouTube. And one time again, after making some changes to the both on Rumble and YouTube. We're going to get back to plain Chuck Leatherberg audio. Let's go from 1.
Recorded live. Hello, my name is Chuck. My nickname is Van of Vancouver, Washington, U.S. Welcome to this show, TalkShoe show number 120297 at TalkShoe.com. This show is being recorded, and anything said will go into the public domain. Thus, everyone is entitled and encouraged to copy and republish any part of this call of the MP3 recording and any text that I entered into the accompanying text. You do not need permission, and no notification is needed. To find more of these public domain audios, go to the top right corner of any TalkShoe.com screen and search for Vancouver or show number 120297, or click the top left Live Now button to see which show is presently underway. The time out here on the west coast of the U.S. is 10:40 a.m. on Friday, June 8, 2011. This is episode number 3001. I have on the phone with me Loco in LA, and can you hear me? Is 10:48.
Yeah, I can hear you. Do that intro a little long. It's 10:40 p.m., not a.m.
I'm sorry. Thank you. 10:40. Yes, 10:40 p.m. on
12:40 a.m. before, and I had to learn new trends all over again.
Totally understand. I have a question. It's up to you. I appreciate. But you had me remove 3 calls that we did, and
Dude,
I'm
I
asking.
keep harping on that. Like, you talk about this shit every time I see you. Like, yes, you removed my calls from your show.
But it's in the. But this is in the. This is in the recording, and it's never been recorded. I've never had you on a recording. This time, I'm not going to remove it. And I'm just asking why you had me do that, please.
Because I wanted to. That's why. So.
Okay. So what's been going on with you since those calls were in the fall of 2010, and here that was close to 2 years ago. What's new going on with you, please?
Oh, same shit, different day.
New nets.
Nothing new.
It's
all the same
now
shit, different day.
You made the comment the other night that we're on different sides of the fence. What did you mean by that, please?
Oh, I just mean like I said, 75-25, maybe 25%.
So you think I'm? Go ahead.
I give all these guests and all these people logged in. Maybe we might have 2 real people in here looking for valuable information. The rest of them are just fishing. I might even know of at least one of them, or they might think they know everything about me.
But so
that's what I
what's
learned
on
about
your?
these calls. It's nothing but fucking chills and phonies.
A lot of shills and phonies on these calls at TalkShoe.com that are targeted individual oriented.
If there's any real targets listening to this that's on this call, don't tell these people shit. Don't tell them a fucking thing. Don't get on these calls and think you can build trust with somebody and you can trust anybody from any of these calls with anything. You don't want everybody to know. I never did.
Let's have some more on that because I want to. I totally agree with everything. I'm sorry?
I'm not trying to elaborate on anything. It's
okay.
Cut and dry.
It's pretty cut and dry, and I am totally with Loke on that one. So what's been going on with you in the last 2 year and a half since we've talked?
My computer was reading this news story earlier. This is so funny because, like I said, this is real around here. Somebody like this, whatever. If they need to kick in my door and fucking shoot me is what they need to do. If they're gonna do anything, that's what they need to do. Anyways, I had put up a story earlier about this woman that was shot. There was car fire, 11 shots into a car, and it just fucking switched to a tab all by itself. Isn't it amazing? It's good thing I did that.
But I mean, targeting-wise, in your life, what's been going on? Do you mind telling us?
Oh, chemical warfare in many ways.
So you're still being harassed?
No, I mean, yeah, but it went more back to overt. Like, not overt, but they think they're overt. I'm seeing fucking familiar faces everywhere. They just don't know how familiar they really are.
Okay. And people are, but so they think they're harassing, but it's not bothering you very much. Is that the size of it?
Oh, man. You know what? It's like, what can you do,
So what's new with you? What's new in the last year and a half? I haven't heard your cheerful voice in a year and a half. I'm just curious, what's new, please?
Cheerful right now?
Figure of speech.
Nothing's new. Yeah, I'm sure it might be real fucking cheerful for you. You could be getting paid real well for this conversation right now.
I promise you, I absolutely have my...
I didn't come on these calls for, like, at least a year, maybe more. I don't even know. I don't keep track of time. I didn't come on these calls, and I come to one call 2 weeks ago, and with my name, and, what did Guest 28 say? Never mind, I'll pull it up. Hold on, I'll just pull it myself. But,
whatever,
everything
I
come on these calls 2 weeks ago. You didn't have a show, and now all of a sudden you got a show and you're doing recordings again? Dude, it's so fucking obvious, man. Come on.
I can tell you what happened. I can tell you that in January of 2012, my show got shut down. My show number 87161, but they left the recordings, and for 4 months, I logged in, I listened, and I monitored other shows. I did not have my other show.
Let's pay attention here to the convenient timeline. Van first comes to talk to, like what, 2 weeks before I got on talk to, and then and everybody knows my computer's hijacked. So I mean, me getting the links that I got that brought me here to start off with, I'm sure that's no coincidence because those are just you got to show 2 weeks before I come here. And you're doing recordings, and then, like, all of a sudden now you're doing recordings again. I'm just saying, like...
I can tell you that, I can tell you what spurred me to start the show.
What's been going on with your targeting?
What's been going on?
Yourself.
Sure. What I can tell you is, by the way, I want to tell you about my show. I want to respond to what you just said. What happened was, Renita had a great call up till about 3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden she used to record, but all of her calls disappeared, and now she's under the thumb, it appears, of and her calls were really down to earth, and she recorded, and there were 5 to 7 great recordings, and now they all disappeared, and she's under the thumb of freedomschs.com.
Oh, is this, is this your first call, period?
Pardon me?
Is this your first call, period? You know what? I just want to say right now that, it is, Saturday, June 9th at 12:47 a.m. in Louisiana. I'm looking at this catalog right now, and it's 10:53 a.m., so I don't know what's really going on with this, but...
Where does it say attention? I don't see that 10:53 anywhere.
I'm going to go get off the phone so I'm not distracted.
Where does it say 10:50?
LA, and I'm logging off at 12:47 a.m. Saturday, June 9th.
And this is Chuck in Vancouver, Washington, and I show 10:47 in Vancouver, Washington, and I have restarted my call, but I wanted to continue. I may have lost Loco. She's certainly welcome to call back in and continue. But what happened was Renita's calls went away, which I was really upset about because they were so credible, because her calls were so credible, but they all disappeared. And that is what spurred me to restart my calls. Not so much only that, but that her calls now are no longer what I would call down home. They are far-fetched. And Loco just typed into the chat room, chatgrabber.com. So you can enter chatgrabber.com and enter this call number, 120297. And then select out this date, which would be the top one, and you can listen to this recording. That is the end of this recording. We're going to click the end button. And I don't know.
Oh, recorded live.
Hello, my name is Chuck. My nickname is Van or Vancouver, Washington, U.S. Welcome to TalkShoe show number 120297 at TalkShoe.com. Anything said will go into the public domain. Thus, everyone is entitled and encouraged to copy and republish any or all of this MP3 recording file. You do not need permission, notification, or attribution. To find more of these public domain audios, go to the top right of any TalkShoe screen and search for Vancouver or 120297, or click on the top left to see if the show is live now. The timeout here, and I should have had this ready to go. The timeout here on the West Coast is 10 after 12 a.m. on Tuesday, June 12, 2012, and I have on the phone with me Louis Ewing, who also has a TalkShoe show number. Louis, can you give us a real short description of your TalkShoe, real short description of your TalkShoe show, and what do you have to say?
My Pro Se Winners talk show is just a group of individual pro se litigants. Lloyd Smith, Kurt Riggin, Matt from Michigan, Michael James Anthony. These are guys that have a track record of winning cases without an attorney. That's what pro se is.
Okay, and let's leave it at that. Now, the real question that we just talked about was your issue with your daughter, and can you give us a rundown of what happened? Conspiracy theories and all, please.
My daughter allegedly died of sudden infant death syndrome, which I think is total bullshit. There's no such thing as coincidence. I do not believe in coincidences. I believe that my daughter died as a severe allergic reaction to erythromycin, which for some reason...
And how do you spell that real quick? How do you spell that real quick so that people can Google it or what have you, please? Oh, that's right. That's right.
Right there on the board.
Continue on it.
There it is. There it is right there on the board. Erythromycin. Erythromycin.
Okay, spelled ERYTHROMYCIN. Now, please continue.
Erythromycin is a synthetic antibiotic. And what I discovered is you're not supposed to use erythromycin unless you have an established and proven allergic reaction to penicillin, which is a natural antibiotic.
Now, you talked something about slow acting and fast acting, and where the one is they can give you a shot, and another is they can rub it in. Go ahead and let's have that. I'm trying to keep this interview moving, please.
But Russian Jews are known, their scientists are known to have perfected slow-release poisons, undetectable poisons. And they introduced erythromycin by rubbing a small amount in her eyes. And I talked
now, how do you know that? I'm sorry, I'm being a pill here, but I'm just saying, how do you know that? Were you there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had just barely walked in because I just got back to the hospital from visiting my boys who were being babysitted while my ex-girlfriend was at the hospital. And when I walked in and I started talking to her, all of a sudden the doctor came in behind me, was examining the baby, and all of a sudden I turned to look at him again because, like, why was he, like, spending so much time? And he was rubbing something in her eye, and I yelled at him to stop. What was he doing? And he said, it's no big deal. It's just an antibiotic. And I said, she doesn't need an antibiotic. She's not sick. And
now you're one of these guys that wanted. Let's hear the one about the birth certificates, about your previous two children who got out of the hospital without names, and let's hear that, please.
I got both my sons, little Lewis Jr., and Phoenix. I got both of them out of the hospital without giving the hospital names. I got no birth certificates, no fingerprints, no thumbprints, no nothing.
This is what, a couple of 3-4 years before the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you do that? That's because you're one of these guys that doesn't. Go ahead.
I don't believe in having state-issued IDs. I don't need the government's permission to exist. I don't need the government's registration of my name. And I have a right to my privacy. My sons haven't committed a crime, so there's no need for them to be booked into jail and be fingerprinted and footprinted and birth certificated and registered in any kind of index whatsoever. It's none of the state's business.
And how many years ago was this, please? And let's not give any names. Let's not give any names of any hospitals or anything else.
Yeah. She died.
But how many years ago was this, please?
This was on June 9th. Just 2 years ago.
Okay, and
she died 29 days later, and her eyes were red. Her eyes were red and inflamed, and the hospital told
when she died, and so they were red and inflamed in the hospital, or when she died, please.
From the day that they rubbed that stuff in her eye, her eyes wouldn't stop hurting. She always rubbed them. And then the redness...
And she was just an infant.
She was just an infant. The redness went away in one eye, but it didn't go away in the other eye. 29 days later, the hospital told us that she died as, they believe, a severe allergic reaction to anaphylactic shock. I mean,
okay.
And she died of anaphylactic shock as a severe allergic reaction to the erythromycin.
Okay, and now I'm so sorry to bring this up, but I heard you telling this story the other night, and now you feel that this might have something to do with you. The reason tell us the targeted individual implication of what you just described, please.
Well, I'm a government resistor. I drive with no license. I distribute flyers that teaches people how to drive without a license, no insurance, no seatbelt. You can smoke pot legally.
So you're on
2004.
you've annoyed them big time.
Oh, I'm a big annoyance to the state. I mean, yeah, they don't
Out
like
here
it.
in
They
the
don't
state
like
of Washington.
they don't like people. Cops call people like me a constitutionalist or a patriot or a freeman because I drive without a driver's license.
Now, does anything else happen? Is there any other reason? Now, we've got two examples. One is that you drive without a license. One is that your youngster died. And is there any other reason why you might be considered why you may have provoked them targeting wise? Please.
In 2004, Kurt Riggin and I beat the largest marijuana case in the state of Washington ever won by a pro se litigant. Kurt got busted for multiple felony counts of manufacturing marijuana. We're talking 166 pot plants, all over 6 feet tall, the best purple bud you'd ever smoked in your life. We beat it
Okay, we don't need. Okay, and any other reason why you might have provoked the law, please? Any other reasons?
Because in their eyes, in their eyes, we practice law without a license. We are not attorneys. We are not members of the bar. We never went to law school, and they can't have that. They can't have people who are not members of the bar.
Okay. Any other examples of things that you have done to really annoy them, to really get under their skin?
I've stopped 4 major tax trials on 3 different federal circuits.
Okay. Now, you're making that's some pretty big accusation that we're making. That I believe it was an accusation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that we're talking about potentially they intentionally killed your daughter, or they did that on purpose so that it would happen sometime later. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, the one other thing they're mad about is when I had my first son at the hospital, little Louie, my ex-girlfriend tested positive for drugs, and they actually had plans to kidnap Louie, and they arrested him for 72-hour hold, and then another 72-hour hold. They tricked her into signing away her parental rights, and then they took our son, down to what's called a PIC facility, where
how do you spell that? P-I-C? How do you spell that, please?
P-I-I-C.
P-I-I-C, facility. Okay, and what is that, please?
That's a place where I've discovered that they sell babies for $150,000 to $250,000 Canadian citizens.
Okay.
And this thing is owned by an LLC.
Yeah, let's not give any names because I'm trying to keep my show here without getting sued, and we haven't used any names of any doctors.
Right.
But are you saying that they literally? What else do you have to say about this PIIC facility? Without giving their name,
they fraudulently claim babies are drug addicted, and they pump them full of morphine, even though they're not drug addicted, to give the appearance.
Now, how do you know they pump them full of morphine? How do you know that, please?
They did that to my son.
And how do you know that, please? I'm asking a tough question, but I'm just asking you to go with me, please.
Because the doctors and the nurses told us that's what they do to all the babies that go to a PIC facility.
They pump them full of drugs in these PIC facilities so that it demonizes their parents.
Yeah, to cover up the tracks that maybe that the kids didn't test positive for drugs. And so if you try to go test later, they're going to test positive for drugs, and they're going to say, oh, no, the babies were drug addicted when they came here, and we had to put them on morphine to bring them down from drugs. But all the nurses at the hospital said my baby was healthy. It showed no sign of drug addiction. My baby boy was 10.5 pounds when he was born.
Okay, now I'm telling you, I've gone out on a limb here, and I hope I haven't risked the show, but we haven't given any doctors' names, any hospitals or anything like that. But do you have any other hand grenades that you want to throw before we terminate this interview, please?
They assigned a German Jew police officer.
Let's hang on. Let's keep the religion out of this, please. Thank you. But please continue.
Yeah, well, they assigned that particular lady who refused to investigate the doctors. She didn't investigate the warning labels on Tyson packages.
On what kind of packages, please?
I found out that the warning label on
how do you spell that?
Warning, like a warning label.
Enough.
She refused to investigate the warning labels on the erythromycin. She failed to ask the doctor if he read the warning labels.
1457 June 20.
She was essentially okay. Any other hand grenades you want to throw before we end this off?
You're not supposed to give erythromycin to newborn babies.
Naked knife man.
Okay. Do you have anything else? By the way, why don't you give the Talk Show the number of your show before we end off here? What is the show number, please? I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, hold on. It'll take me a second to grab it out of my computer. I haven't actually memorized it yet.
Okay.
Then this is his face is blurred out.
Once again, this is.
But you can tell.
Go ahead.
He was
my little girl.
So his hand is over his hand. This is Aftonbladet, Swedish news.
Okay, we're killing this conversation here. That's right. Let's leave it off. Do you have anything else that you want to say before we terminate this interview?
No, I'm
just going to post.
Well, let's not post it. Let's see if you know what the number is. Let's say it on the recording, because a lot more people are going to hear it on the recording.
120418.
Okay, so the Talk Show number 120418 is Louis Ewing's show, and that's called what again, please?
Pro Day Winners.
Okay, and you're on, when is it presently on, please?
So
every Friday at 6
a naked
p.m.
man has been wrestled down.
Okay. Anything else that you want to say before we call this recording to an end?
The police confirms.
Okay, Louis, this is the first time I've talked to you. I've heard you a number of times on various shows. Thank you. Once again, my name is Chuck, and this is the end of the recording.
During the arrest was the spokesperson of the police.
Recorded.
Hello, my name is Chuck. My nickname is Vancouver, Washington, USA. Welcome to Talk to Now, TalkShoe.com, show number 120297. This show is being recorded, and anything said will go into the public domain. Thus, everyone is entitled and encouraged to copy and republish any or all of this MP3 recording file. You do not need permission. No notification or attribution is necessary. To find more of these public domain audios, go to the top right corner of any TalkShoe.com screen and search for Vancouver or show number 120297, or go to the top left live now, click on that. The time out here on the west coast of the U.S. is 4:25 p.m. on Thursday, June 14, 2011. I have on the phone with me Puri Dealana. We haven't spoken since December 25, 2010. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
All right, and so you called out of the blue. What inspired you to call in, please?
Yeah, I just had a feeling that you'd be on, and I would expect you were on, so I haven't gotten on Talk Show in ages.
So now, are you still living down in the panhandle of Florida, near Elgin Air Force Base?
Relocating.
Okay, now we were talking about this interview number 1067 on Talk to call number 87161 that we did on December 25 of 2010. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I haven't messed with those aircraft quite in some time, so now that incident, they stopped doing that, at least to me. Those are
bought a
drone
case
aircraft, small drone
in
aircraft that
America.
were unmanned,
It was
dark
a
green,
crocodile all over
and
PCP,
they were
and
actually
then they would go
engineered
nuts with
by
the
an
and they
off-branch
made someone go naked
of
and
engineering
run around
students
that
that some of them
car.
intern at a corporation called
Stuff.
Suns Microsystems, which is the computer technology systems
How do you
that
spell
also
that?
deals
Suns, S-U-N-S? How do you spell
Suns
that, please?
Went to drug
Microsystems,
schools.
Oh, Sun is...
SUNS, like
Okay.
Suns Micro,
Yeah, it's like most
MIRCO,
likely something
Okay,
SYSTMS systems.
What else do you have to say on? Okay, you were talking, doing
nothing
so
much.
great. Go ahead.
Nothing much. I haven't been harassed by necessarily any technology as far as mainly what they've been using is laser lights, all that stuff. I will say that I do actually have evidence of, and I have kept with me in a plastic baggie. One time when I walked, this was a while ago too, maybe about a year ago. I don't know, somewhere around then. I actually found a small microchip on the
Quite
ground
frequently.
about the size of half your fingernail or your big thumb fingernail if you're looking at it. And I actually have it saved, and I actually have pictures
Quite frequently. If the cops
uploaded, and I actually still have the evidence with me, and I cut the chip in half, and you can actually see where the copper is and all that stuff. And I found it on the ground during one of my runs to the entrance to the EOD base.
Okay, tell me more about this. Tell me more about this aircraft that was stalking you. As I recall, you were like a block outside of Elgin Air Force Base in the Florida Panhandle.
It was Eglin Air Force Base, and it's off branch of Eglin Air Force Base. It's not actually.
How do you spell that? E-G-L-I-N?
E-G-L-I-N, yes. And it's off branch of that.
There's also
Off
like
branch
an
of that,
old
which is actually an EOD base. They actually have a bridge that they put up now over that before the entrance of the base because they're doing highway reconstruction. That's a whole different story altogether. But yes, during that time period before any of that was going on, you have neighborhoods that run along that strip called Range Road. And you have neighborhoods that run along that.
What was the name of that road, please?
Range Road.
R-A-N-G-E, okay. Please continue.
And anyhow, the neighborhood, about the fourth one down, is where it's about 9 to 11 something at night, whatever those times were. That's when I had one of the aircraft hovering right beside me on my left shoulder, and it was literally in an entrance to one of the neighborhood streets. And yeah, anyone could have seen it, but no one did. But yeah, it was
but they were,
very
as you put it, they were showing off their toys or something like that on that.
Now I think they have had repercussions as far as SFA go and all that good stuff because they have.
As far as there's been repercussions. How so? Please repeat.
Because the SAA, which is the Federal Aviation.
In the legs by the
So
cops. Okay.
That's why I think they've kind of shut those down. I haven't seen any of those types of aircraft or drones or anything like that being shut off now. So I have seen laser lights from those previous incidences. That hasn't happened, but more in the future they have had different types of laser lights shown. But other than that, no, it hasn't. I haven't been really harassed in that manner, and I've been once I kind of left that area, I did pretty good. Besides. The people trying to come up to me and ask me, people that I know weren't necessarily that good for me, trying to come in and find things about me. Like, for example,
same thing happens again.
I was with someone of special ops, and I'm like, well, why would someone like that want to be with someone like me? Not to say I'm like abhorring of a person, but at the same time, you got, I know there's people and they got better things to do. And so for someone to make that decision, I knew that I was being watched, and intel was assessed. And the guy even said he was in intelligence, and I'm like, oh, fucking great, because they're in unit. Special ops, you happen in unit. A group of 12 people to one group. However, that doesn't happen. It's usually 7 to 9 because they're short-handed, and you have everyone that knows all basic knowledge. But at the same time, you have everyone in the group that's specialized. You have one intel person, one weapons person, one communications person, and so forth. So you have like Echo, Fox, all that good stuff.
But you weren't just something the cat drug in. Your dad was an Air Force officer or something like that, as I recall, or what was, what was the deal?
I won't give it too much information on that because I don't want to drag other people into it. But yeah,
you'd be less likely to require invitations
a pilot, to say the least. But yeah.
Okay, so that might be one reason why they're stalking you. What would you call it? Stalking? Surveillance? What do you call it?
I would call it surveillance. I mean, I had been left alone for a while. I do consider myself a psychic, and I do think that has something to do with it. I have been approached by military before at a metaphysical event to literally ask me questions from out of nowhere. I was harassed one time at a metaphysical event a few years ago by a man and a woman, both in their middle ages. Both Caucasian, but not pale. One was 6 foot. The woman was like 5'4", 5'5", maybe. She had dark brown hair, almond eyes, and the guy had like gray bluish eyes and dirty blonde hair. And they boxed me, and they started questioning me. They came out of nowhere, and he was asking.
They boxed you on the road in your vehicle,
or in the metaphysical event. When I was the metaphysical event was inside. So I was actually with 2 friends, and we were just having a fun, time, whatever.
So here we are. You're down in Florida, and they had some metaphysical event down there. Was that primarily military related, or what was it?
No. It's a metaphysical event. It's like not military related whatsoever. It's a metaphysical event, which means you have things like alternatives such as Reiki and stones and psychic readings, aura pictures, people that make jewelry. I mean, a bit of everything.
Now, do you believe in all that stuff and those psychic readings? Do you believe in all that stuff?
Okay, let me put it this way. You have like any field, you have the genuine people and you have the con artists. Believe me, there's a ton of psychics out there that are full of bullshit and con artists. And there's also some really good ones. I know ones that work with FBI. I know ones that have nice jobs and do what they do. So believe me, there's really legit ones out there, and then there's ones that are full of shit. And it's just wading through all that. And you got to think about it like this. Everyone has the ability to be quote unquote psychic. That's not knowing what number from 1 to 10 you're gonna pick. It's a lot more complicated than that. But for example, you have kids that play soccer. A lot of people can play soccer, but at what degree? So you have kids that are playing soccer recreationally for fun. That's one thing. Then you have people that are on the varsity team, so they're a little bit better. Then you have people that are on the college team, a little bit better. And then, of course, you have the professionals. So
okay, but we're getting into the psychic thing.
So, yeah.
Some of it might be...
It's a metaphysical event. The metaphysical festival has a lot of different people. It brings a lot of different people together.
How many people were there? 100? 1,000? How many people were there?
I would
a dozen?
say definitely a few hundred at that time. So, like I said, it's a pretty
And what city was this in? What city is this in?
I won't say what city, but I will say that it was in Florida at the time.
And how did you happen to be invited to it? Do you mind telling us?
It was
Once again, this is a public domain interview. This is public domain, unedited. Anybody can have it. So it's up to you on what you want to disclose.
Yeah, this was an open venue. You had to pay, but it was an open venue other than that, so anyone can get in. Now, some of the other ones I've been invited to to other metaphysical and psychic events, which you cannot just be invited in. I mean, you cannot just come in. You have to be invited in. Kind of, what is it, premier groups, if you want to call them that, for lack of
Now, why do you suppose you were invited? Because it's fairly well known, I'm guessing, that you're a psychic?
Yes, partially. However, I don't do readings or anything like that. Now, at that time, years ago, no one knew really what I did besides my family and a few close friends, and even then, people only knew if I did a reading on them. But I still don't do readings for the general public. I go up to people and tell them what they need to tell them, but I don't put my name out there, so to speak. But anywho, these 2 people, my friends were getting their aura picks done, and I was standing by the white table waiting for them. And there was a wall behind me, and these 2 military personnel, like I described earlier, came in on the right-hand side through a door, and they literally just came right to me, saw the aura pick in my hand, and said, "Oh, yeah, you got this done? We're getting to get this done, too."
What about your hand? What was that? What they shook your hand? What was it?
The aura picture in my hand. It was something.
What does that mean, aura picture? Help me out, please.
It's a type of, basically, when it's at one of these events, it's a machine, and it basically takes your picture and the colors behind you and all that stuff, and it's your aura, but I won't get into that.
Oh, aura.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So anyhow,
okay.
I just did it because I knew my friends, I wanted them to have a good time, whatever. So I got that done. I was just waiting for them.
Sure. Now, getting back into the targeting part of this, we talked in December 25, 2010, and we talked about this issue, and you had a number of examples. What examples do you have about that sort of thing that may have happened to you since that call, please?
Yes, hang on. Okay, so back to what I was saying with the 2 military individuals that came up out of nowhere. And he didn't ask my name. He didn't say, how were you? There was none of that type of conversation. He literally, after he asked about the aura pigs, said, oh yeah, I'm going to get it done, whatever, which they didn't because I saw them leave after they questioned me. He said, okay, how long have you been able to read people? How often do you read people? He just started asking me a slew of questioning.
How old was this guy? I mean, was he 20? Was he 60?
I told you, they were in their 40s. They were in the
40s,
middle
okay.
age. So, and I already gave you their description. But
Sure.
They were in full uniform too, and they didn't have any conception of space because they were like an inch in front of me. They're using an authoritarian tactic by their uniforms and the lack of space. But I kept calm, and I answered their questions, and then I asked, and then finally I was like, well, fuck, this guy's asking me all these damn questions. I need to ask them back. So I was like, okay, well, he was like a captain of ranking of some sort. I don't remember, but I asked him point blank, since he was asking me all these crazy questions. I said, well, then, with your abilities, you know, do you manipulate your soldiers to do things, basically? And without hesitation, this guy said point blank. He told me straight up that, of course, yeah, I manipulate my soldiers, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, what the fuck? And then, you know, after that, he walked off and disappeared. And the woman didn't
put
say
an end
anything.
to that conversation.
Yeah.
All right, and that was how long after December 25, 2010, when you and I last spoke, please? Do you recall, or is that open?
I want to say,
give or take.
I want to say that was maybe March of the, well, actually, maybe that was before. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look back in my log.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Ago.
It was in the first quarter.
Ago. But I will tell you that lately, like I said, the only thing that's happened lately from previous to now would be the microchip that I found that I still have.
And you mentioned that microchip off the air. Why don't you briefly discuss that and how you think it applies, please, on the tape here?
Microchip I found when I was actually jogging, and it was before I got to the base, and it was actually like covered to where it looked like it would be just dirt, but then I saw, it's kind of shiny. So it actually has, it's like I said, very, very small, like half of your big fingernail if you were to take it. It's round and circular. It had a brown strip that went around the circumference, and then the top was like a copper color with 3 rings. And then when I cut it open, you can actually see the green chips on the inside with the copper wire running through it. I actually have pictures, and I also have it, like I said, still in a plastic bag. And at the time when I was dating the, well, whatever you want to call it, special ops person, they were special, all right. No, just kidding, special ed. But no, I asked him. I actually showed it to him, and I said, well, can you tell me what this is? And he's like, yeah, it's like a chip of some sort. And, well, I said, you know, well, what is it? Who can I send? And he's like, I really don't know. Maybe you should send it to, is it CID or DIC or something? Basically the Army equivalent of investigations for these sort of things, of course, because they were Army. But it was just retarded. I was like, really? No one knows what the fuck is this? So, I mean, everyone knew it was a chip of some sort because of the holes and all that, but no one knew.
Didn't look like it came out of your average PC or anything like that, huh?
No. I mean, even he didn't know what he was, and he was a weapons expert, but turns out these people don't do the same thing. They don't even pick out their damn bullets anymore. They have people in the, like, it used to be the snipers that pick out their own bullets and all that, but now they actually have people that specifically their job is to pick out the certain types of bullets for the soldiers and all that. So times have changed with what people have to be knowledgeable of and what they don't. So it's quite interesting in that respect.
So what else may have happened targeting-wise since December 25 to 10 when we last spoke?
Just random people coming up to me. You know, even the house I'm moving into, it turns out FBI used to live there. And I've had other types of interesting individuals come up to me, whether they are military, whether they, for example, one of the other people I knew, I met him randomly, and turns out his step brother is really high up in the DOD, which if you don't know what that is, it's the Department of Defense. And he was talking about all this different technology and how they have a satellite and how his step brother actually let him use one of the satellite things because he was an aircraft mechanic and let him use one of the satellites.
Some aircraft